That will sync all the audio.
Hello, Tanay. Thank you for accepting my interview today. So to go back on the context, we are currently on a cruise ship where we work together as crew member with doing different discipline, let's say.
Yes, indeed.
And so we met on this cruise ship. And I think this is a great opportunity to do an interview.
I think it's been like May, June, July, August, September, almost October now. So almost 5 months that I've met you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't see outside right now, but that's international waters. It's difficult to see with all the lights around here. But yeah, that's international waters. No government governs us here. But yeah, we come from a very different discipline. She's a performer and I come from arts. Very different kind of arts though.
So I would like to start with like the most simple question. Can you introduce yourself and share a bit about what you do today as a filmmaker, as a photographer, and as in general in life?
So yeah, as Sarah said, my name is Tanay. I'm a photographer currently on board one of the cruise ships, and I didn't end up here by choice. Let's say I ended here by accident. I used to do photography. I'm like 28 now. I used to do it since I'm 6, 7 because my father is a photographer, and it started very funny actually because I messed up his camera, got beat up for it because come on, Indian parenting, we're very strict. Yeah, so yeah, and that's how I got into photography. That's what got me interested into taking pictures, understanding how the science behind it works. But I never thought I'm going to be a professional photographer ever. But yeah, as you said, after a long time, I came here because of COVID. I was not working here or working as a photographer back home in India. I was doing everything but photography. I had to start photography due to COVID because that was the skill that was needed at that time because media never goes out of business too. Yeah. Right? And yeah, that's how I got on cruise ships. To know about me, I love filmmaking. I like telling stories. Not just stories, but stories in a perspective that are different to the world. Something that's very deep rooted in me is telling a story at the same time giving a value from it, not just for the sake of storytelling, but for adding something to the world of stories in general. And that's how I ended up on a ship. And this is a place where it's a treasure of stories. You meet so many people, so many stories, so many things that happen around here that are worth documenting or worth writing down, like what we're doing right now. Is exactly what storytelling is. For me, it's sharing experience and making sure someone who's learning from it takes something away and it inspires them. Expression is a part of my filmmaking, but inspiring is another big part of it. And that's a very small thing. I don't like to impress, I like to express, but ultimately it ends up impressing people. So it's a win-win.
Well, personally, I was really impressed with your skills. I have the feeling you are very talented to see through your lens, to see the personality of someone or to make the best out of it. Like every time I would have a picture, like a scanning picture from you, it's always look like you succeed to capture the precise moment I wanted to express something on the ice. It's kind of like crazy.
Well, it's as it says, practice makes perfect. So I've been behind the camera so many times. And a very less known fact about me is that I come from theaters background. So I was born into theaters. My mom and dad have been doing theaters for most of their life and was born into theaters. We have this word called nepotism, which is not the best word, but it's the best way of learning things because you get a first-hand experience of everything that happens in that world. So I started through theaters, and theaters teach you one thing, and that is to look at something, but not just look at it, observe it, study it, realize it, understand it. And with time, you get used to the fact that how you see something. Like when I see you on ice and I know what you want trying to portray, and with my experience as a filmmaker, storyteller, I can just shape you a little. Because I have no idea how skating works, but I know how stories work. So my job in filmmaking or storytelling, as you said, of capturing the emotion is just to understand what's being emoted by the performer and what's the best way of capturing it so it emotes to the audience when they look at it. Because anyone can, like nowadays with iPhones and everything, anyone can just pop out a camera and take a video. But telling a story is a complete different thing than taking a video. That's why just because you have a camera does not make you a videographer, photographer, or a storyteller. You need to know and understand what you're doing with it.
So your story kind of come instantly on the moment, or sometimes you plan, okay, I want, for example, to visit this place and I want exactly what I want to tell about this place, or it's a very like how to say, instant moments?
For me, most of the stories that I've been telling are not planned. It's more spontaneous because I'm in a situation, I see a story, and I work around it. I am more of a go with the flow kind of a guy, or a go with the flow kind of a storyteller. But I do have a few stories that I would love to tell in the future, but this is something way, way down the line. Nothing is in pen or paper, it's just stories or ideas in my head. But yeah, this is something, writing is something that needs time. Telling a story that you already know the person about and creating a story that you have no clue how it's going to go are two very separate things. That's where the narrative filmmaking comes in, and documentaries and biographies and all of those. It's a very complex thing. Story. It's very simple when you're like, hey, it's a storyteller or he's a filmmaker, but people fail to understand it's a very complex web of a lot of things that go behind it. So yeah, for me, it's mostly go with the flow for now, but definitely in the future, you might see a narrative coming out of it.
Okay. So to resume, your passion really became your profession.
Sort of. Let's
Okay.
say it was my passion, yes, storytelling, but COVID pushed me over and made it my profession. It's not the best thing, COVID, of course, but it got this version of me out of me. So yeah, it was best for me that time that I struggled, because I believe in the saying, like, if you're struggling with something now, which means you already have achieved it in the future. So that's like my hopeless optimistic in me saying that.
That's a very good way to put it in. Even in sport, stuff like that. You've worked across a wide range of formats, from food and wedding videos to narrative shorts and branded content. What draws you to such varied forms of storytelling?
Well, as I said, storytelling is a complex web, and as you mentioned, I've done food videos, I've done vlogs. I used to do regular vlogs a few years ago, but then I got into something else and I haven't been going back to that. Done a lot of narrative work, mostly not a complete narrative, but patchworks here and there, filling in the gaps for friends or for professional work. Most of my work has been ghost work, which means that I don't go for the credit of it, as long as, well, I'm from India. I was working in India. So financials in India are very different because of the economy. So ghost work pays me money, and that was good for me at that time. But yeah, moving forward, I'm going to look for more credited work that you can see around on web or end up on Wikipedia or something like that. If you search for me on YouTube, you'll find a lot of my work that is more independent and more like practice. Because sometimes when you're in a competitive industry like filmmaking, you're not going to get a chance. You have to create your own opportunities. It's just the way they say it, fake it till you make it. You're actually working. You're not actually faking the work. You work, and then someone recognizes you, or use the work that you created for yourself to introduce you to the world. Because as I said, opportunities needs to be created in saturated businesses, like with skating as well, because that's what I think about skating, knowing you guys and skaters in general for a long time. You need to have something in you to stand out, and then you get the opportunity to be there. It's the same thing with filmmaking. You need to show the world that you have something in you, and if the opportunity does not arise, you create the opportunity for yourself. So that's how I started as a videographer for a food channel on YouTube, and I was making somewhere around 300 episodes in 2 months. So when I came to weddings, I already had experience of editing 800 videos in less than 6 months.
Oh wow! Okay.
So that was the time when I was working every day and night, and a lot of mistakes were made, of course, because I was still new to the industry. And it's a very different industry than people think, like, oh, all videographers do the same. No, it's very different needs, it's very different niche. And if you guys are interested, then you can, of course, always research about it. But no two videos are same, no two videographers are same. So my transition from videographer to cinematographer was very funny, because I have these friends back home, and I met them completely by accident, and they needed someone to patchwork. And because I'm from theaters, I have the vision of creating a story. I easily got the gig. Since then, I've been shooting as a cinematographer. So yeah, from food videos to travel videos to narrative films to music videos, everything is like connecting the dots. It's like stars. When you're in the night sky, you can just connect the lines and make patterns. It's the same thing with my profession as a storyteller. You create experiences, these are the dots, and then you use them to make a bigger picture.
So basically, you did like a step-by-step thing by doing different thing, and then step-by-step you kind of like grow from there and make bigger project, let's say.
Yeah, you can put it that way. It was actually funny because the opportunities keep on arising as more I started working. So I did not plan to go from video to wedding to this. It just happened.
Okay.
But it happened in a pattern which actually helped me rather than pulling me down.
How did you, because jumping back on what you say, that sometimes you have to define yourself to create your opportunity, which is the same for us in scaling. Like sometimes we have to be put in a certain, in a certain field. Like there is like the pair skater, the solo skater. Some people are doing like circus stuff, or sometimes people can like jungle in many disciplines as well. But you as a photographer, like, do you define yourself in one discipline? I mean, I can see you have like different project with like different subject as well. Is it hard maybe sometimes to not have like a precise, like, okay, I will just stick with wedding, I will just stick with, you know what I mean? Particularly in such a competitive like industry, as you said.
Like choosing a niche is not my thing. As I said, I go with the flow. I like to keep myself open to all and every opportunity that arises. This is how it is with my sorry. And this is how it is with my video work as well. I see opportunity, I'm going to go for it because for me it's exciting.
Of course.
Working with camera, being behind camera is exciting for me. And that's how I slowly went from just shooting to editing as well. Because I don't work as a cinematographer for most of the times now. I usually work behind the screen. Like I've done enough field work that I'm resting in my AC office and working as an editor, just putting everything together that someone has shot. But that does not mean I don't like going on the field. I'm still on the field even if I'm just the editor of that project. I like being there. It's the whole experience that you live.
And for the organization part, is it sometimes overwhelming because you have so many different projects and...
Initially, yes, it was overwhelming because there's so much things happening. I don't know how to manage my dates. I don't know how to manage data. I was new to this because I did not go to flip school. What I learned on sets. I learned with people. I learned from experience over the years. So initially, yes, it was very much overwhelming when I started it. But now I've gotten used to it. I can manage my time better. Prioritizing projects is one thing. Some projects need to go out in a week. Let's say like a food video, it has to go out in 2 days. It has to be every 2 days that you update it. But something like a narrative, it takes a long time because I'm not the only one involved. There are so many other departments that it goes through, then it comes back to you. So prioritizing work was something that was very challenging for me early on. But now I've gotten used to it after doing it for so much time. It gets easier with time. As I said, practice makes perfect. It's the same thing. It feels smooth. I can glide through it now.
It's amazing. How, David actually answered this question. How do you approach the balance between aesthetic visuals and emotional depth in your work?
Well, aesthetic is, in my terms, is not what you see, but what you feel when you see it. Like you can call a frame cinematic when it's just a normal frame, and you can feel a frame cinematic even if it's just a random video. Like when I do my videos on phone sometimes, like the other day, the one that I did for the cafe, it was just a random video, but it had the feel of a cinema. It's the same thing. I can work with $1,000 camera and know nothing, and it will look like a home video, but I can work with $100 camera, for example, and make it look like cinema. It comes from experience, as I said, and you develop the eye to see it. So when I see the world, even in normal life, I don't just look at it like, oh, this is happening. You see the lighting, like right now, right here. This is a blue light. How will this affect the frame? Or the light that's coming through here, the yellow light, how is it going to affect the frame? And if this two mix, what kind of color contrast is going to create? And everything right now, even happening on this small little set of ours, you can say, everything has its own purpose. We could have done it in a different corner, but the light was not hitting us the right way. And that's why we picked this corner. So it comes with practice. The basic balance is, when you look at something as a person or as a cinematographer, do you feel the scene? Or do you just look at a frame when you're looking at something? So that defines my balance between making it aesthetic and emotional. Also, when we took the pictures the other night, when we were doing that shoot, and I told you I like taking pictures that look like a still out of cinema. And most of our pictures, if you see, they look like a still out of cinema. So yeah, that comes from experience, and that's my niche. My niche is to make things look cinematic. That's something that I developed over time.
Like for the side part, yeah, we did like a photo shoot across like everywhere on the ship, let's say, and that turns out to look like actually a movie, like picture from a movie. Like, yeah, of course, like the dress, the outfit of my fiance helped as well, but the way you were actually traveling, taking the picture around us, like, actually told the story. It looked like, yeah, out of a movie.
It takes time, but I also know you as people. I know you as friends for a long time now, so I know who you are,
That's
and
true.
that's why I know how to capture you better. It gets challenging when you're working with a client who you don't know. Four times.
How do you overcome those clients that must be, I guess, shy to take those picture, and sometimes I'm sure this is the first time for them to actually have a photo shoot in their life. So how do you overcome, or how do you make them feel comfortable, because it's not always an easy task?
That question mostly leans towards photography part of my profession, because videography or cinematography or projects, these are people that are professionally actors. But yeah, with photography, you do find some people that are facing the camera for the first time. The most basic thing that you need to be, for them is to be comfortable. So you need to build a rapport with them. Even before you pick the camera, you need to start making them comfortable with you as a person, your presence, establishing that they are safe. The only reason they feel shy is because they don't feel safe coming out who they are in front of a camera. Like, I am very comfortable with the camera. I can speak and talk to any camera or to a bigger audience as well. But that's because my background in theaters and a lot of the things that came over the years. So your first goal is to make them comfortable so they see you and they don't see the camera in your hand. And then when they look at you with the camera, they're still comfortable because they know they're safe with you there. Making them feel safe, comfortable, and uh, making a free environment for them to open up is your job as a photographer, primarily when you're working with someone who's shy. So yeah, that's how it works for the most part. But then every photographer has his own trick of the books. I have my own, someone has their own, because I need to be comfortable as well doing those things. I cannot just copy paste someone else's patterns on this.
Of course. As both cinematographer and editor, how does one role can influence the other in the creative process?
Well, let's say cinematographer in my books, someone else's books might have a different definition of it, but in my books, a cinematographer is someone who is responsible of creating the visuals based on the script and based on his judgment of the story. And the role of an editor is to put it together and see that the story is told. So everything can change on the edit table. Like, if even if the cinematographer shot something in a certain way, editor has complete control of completely making it look different. So my experience as a cinematographer and editor makes it easy for me to put out projects faster, because while I'm shooting, I'm thinking about the edit. I'm not just thinking about the story or the script or the pre-production that we do or the storyboarding that we do. I'm also thinking about how easy it is going to be for me to put the story together when I'm sitting at the table. Even if I'm not working as an editor or let's say as a cinematographer, I'm always on sets. There is another position called as on-set data management, or we call it the video village, where you see everything and you manage the data. I usually work on that role if I'm editing something, and that helps me because I'm already there. I know which shot was good, which shot was not good, which shot could have been good, what part of what shot is good. I already know it. So when I sit at the table, I don't have to go through at least 1,000 hours of footage and checking and everything. If I'm there, I'm present, I see it, I get it. So it's easier for me being in both the roles because I understand the pros and cons of both the roles, and that helps me streamline, fast track my process. And the work that I do right now back home with my friend, I think we deliver it very fast. Like, we can have a shoot in the morning, we set on it in the afternoon, and by next morning you already have the first draft out, because he's working as the DOP, I'm working as the on-set data, then I'm working as the editor. It's a complete closed circle for what I do back home with just one friend of mine, and it's very fast. We deliver projects. We have delivered projects which would have taken weeks, but we have done it in like 2 days, 3 days. That's how it works. You have experience from both the fields, you put it together. Like, it's the same thing with you guys. If you have experience from a different style of dancing and you experience from skating, you can mix those styles and make your own style of performing. It's the same part.
Well, usually one and the other will actually lift up the other one, you know. Like, if you have experience in dance, going to skating, that will, of course, like, embellish your skating in a way. So I guess it's probably the same.
It's the same thing. It's the balance that you find. Like, the lacking of this field will be taken over by the strengths of this field. Let's put it together. It's like building a block of Jengas.
And have you ever thinking directed, or do you direct movies sometimes?
Movie is a dream someday, sure. But I do direct dramas, I write dramas or theaters. I'm Indian, so drama is a word that is very stereotypically Indian. But yeah, I do theater, so I am used to directing. And even if I'm not directing, when you edit itself, it's a part of direction because you're directing the story in one way or the another. You're not the director, you're directing the flow of that story. Editor can break or make the movie. It's just as simple as that.
You've collaborated with major names in the industry, in travel and entertainment. How have those experiences shaped your vision as a filmmaker? And can you tell us a little bit about all those experiences and with who did you collaborate exactly? And particularly like the fact that you work in India as well. That's super interesting.
So as I said, most of my projects are ghost projects, so I cannot give out the names, but I can tell you what I did on those projects. Like there is this one short film that's coming out. It's out already. It's just got nominated in Amsterdam for a lot of stuff. I worked on it as a patch assistant camera, where we were doing some patchwork, and I was assisting with the camera operations or camera operating. And as I said, it's ghost work, so I don't take the credit for it. I just take the money for it and I go away. I just feed my stomach. That's it. But I did a lot of editing for this company that resells luxury cars. So when I was home last vacation and the one before that, every weekend I would have maybe a Audi, a Mercedes Maybach, let's say a A1 or a Ferrari or a Porsche or a Lamborghini. So every weekend I would have a different sports car, a different luxury car, a different brand, and this was a resale cars, but they were kept up so good. And then 2 days it would be your ride. You'll have a driver to take you around, you'll have someone to take care of that car, you get paid for everything, fuel is paid for, and you're free to go anywhere in India to shoot it. So I get to travel, I get to shoot, I get to edit, and I get to experience luxury brands. It's as simple as that for me.
And have you ever worked, because as the general vision of the world, people will think India and Bollywood, you prefer calling it also Indian independent
cinema.
Indian cinema. Can you explain to us a little bit more about this? Because most of the people wouldn't think right away, oh, Indian cinema, you know what I mean?
So Bollywood is like an umbrella term, as I said when we were talking, when we first met. Umbrella term for anything that happens in India, which is not true. Bollywood is something that deals with the Hindi cinema of Indian cinema. So if Indian cinema is right here, it has different branches. Unlike the West, where you have Hollywood and then everything falls under it, it's Indian cinema, then you have Bollywood, you have Collywood, you have Tollywood. So every language has its own wood, let's put it that way. But just to make all of this simple for the Western side of the world, we just call it Bollywood. So even the smallest part of an Indian cinema, like say a daily soap maybe, it will still be called Bollywood around here. Because it's a part of Indian cinema. Like daily soaps that are made in West are a part of Hollywood. It's the same thing. But Bollywood is originally only Hindi part of Indian cinema.
Okay.
So that's how it works in India. We have Indian cinema and then you have different branches coming out of it.
So sometimes, yeah, as you said, if they call like a soap Bollywood, that's mean it's not necessarily true. It's actually, they kind of like mix it up with it.
Yeah. It's just for the Western knowledge to make it simple for you guys to understand.
Okay.
The cultures. That's
okay, so now I will always say like Indian cinema.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about a little bit more now about your experience working as a photographer on cruise ship and what it is as a general to capture life at sea and to live at sea, like about this experience here right now?
So speaking about my experience on board as a photographer, it's been, let's say, this November I'll be completing 3 years with this company I'm working for right now as a photographer, and I have stepped up, stepped down in a lot of management roles during my course because the experience of photography is one thing, but I did hotel management and I have experience in management as well. I used to work as guest services for a very branded hotel. It's a heritage property, it's a legendary property, you can say. I'm trying to keep the brands out of this because you know how it works with media and brands. So just to let you know, it's one of the most heritage hotels in Mumbai. still use as a triangulation point when the ships come into the port or dock into the port. Then I shifted to sales to another hotel brand, again a 5-star hotel. I was doing sales for this property. So my experience coming from hotel management with guest services, bringing the service part of it, sales bringing the sales part of it, and my photography bringing the photography part of it. That's the exact three things you need when you're a photographer on board, because you don't just take pictures, you have to sell them. So quite literally my job is to create my product, which is my photos, make sure that the guest likes it, and sell it to them. So you have to do guest services, you have to do sales, and then you also have to do photography. So being just a photographer is not enough here. You have to do a lot more things than just photography. And it's very, not challenging, but it's exciting, because every day, well, depending on what cruises you're doing, like right now you're doing 3, 4, and 7. So depending on it, every week you meet someone else. You need to convince them and make sure that you are convincing enough for them to trust you with their appearance, let's say. And then you have to trust yourself enough to shoot this unknown person within the first minute and make sure that the pictures are good, that you sell them. Because none of the pictures that we take on board as normal photographers are edited. What you take in the camera is what goes straight to the system to save. If you're a private photographer, I've covered this position on my first contract, then you get the time to play with the colors, adjust, touch up. But if you're not, if you're just a photographer or a senior, I'm a senior photographer right now. So if you're any of this position that's not private or exclusive, then yes, what you take in your camera, what you see from the viewfinder is what you're going to sell. And the prices being international waters, you have to be very good with what you do. So yes, the experience of all those years, when I use it now, sometimes I don't even use 10% of my skills, because it's like my second nature. My hand already knows what I'm doing with the buttons. I don't have to think about it. It's just like you, when you guys have to skate, glide, or just break on ice, which I don't know yet how to break on ice, which is something I'm still learning. It's like my second nature. And sometimes I said I don't even use 10% of my skills, because it's just muscle memory for me at this point.
Yeah, sometimes I can see you passing by, taking a picture, boop, and it's already look great.
It's over time. As I said, practice makes perfect.
And I was thinking, what kind of story are you the most exciting to tell in the future, and where do you see your creative path evolving next? So we talk a bit about like maybe directing movie. That would be like.
Yeah, well, as I said, there are so many projects in my head that I would like to work on. There's this one story, but yeah, there is this one story that we have. It's not my story. It's one of my friend's story, but I'm helping him write it here and there as soon as I get time on the ships, because it's a very tight schedule. You know how tight schedules can be for me as a photographer on ships, working how many hours I work based on the international laws and stuff. I would love to step into narrative as assistant director to start with, because it takes a lot of time to understand narrative, because it's not based on true events. You're trying to create events and make them feel organic, which is one of the most difficult jobs as a filmmaker you have to do, is to make it feel organic and true to life. So yeah, moving forward, I want to see myself as a narrative director, but also before that I have to see myself and make sure I'm a narrative editor, because unless I have the editing skills, I don't know the directing skills. It's something that is very hand in hand. If you can direct good, you can edit good. If you can edit good, you most probably can direct good. So future goal is just to be an editor that can edit anything at this point. But the one thing that I would love to explore more other than narrative is documentary filmmaking, which is completely new niche for me. I haven't tried it yet. Something hopeful. Let's see.
And I have one last question for you. What is your, let's say, your motivational mantra, quote, like your philosophy as a general, and what advice would you give to younger photographer, or doesn't matter where they come from, actually, like what advice would you give?
For photographers, it's very simple. Just keep on doing it and you'll develop the eye. Start seeing things just not from eye level. I mean, if you're just gonna see it from the eye level, point your phone at it, anyone can do it. Just think what different can you do. Can you go lower? Can you go higher? Go across? Make a Dutch angle maybe? I don't know. It's your niche, so you need to decide how it works. If you take a picture from eye level, you're just a normal human. If you think about why you're gonna take it from the eye level or how you're gonna take it from the eye level, that makes you a photographer. In general, my mantra, as I said, is if you're struggling right now for something, you already have it in the future. So the struggle is good. I know it feels like a big thing right now for you guys to be struggling, but eventually you'll get through it and you'll have what you need or what you want. That's my mantra. Keep on trying. If you're struggling right now, it means you already have it in the future.
That was very, very wise. Thank you so much, Tanay, for this interview. And that concludes our interview for Wanderlust Ice Ink. And again, thank you so much for accepting.
It's a pleasure to be here on your
and
whole interview thing.
For sharing your experience with all of us.
Yeah.
Et voilà.